Well, this is what I was a little bit concerned about. If you look, that is snow, and those are some pretty big flakes. So, now the question arises, what do? Do we head down the mountain, or do we try to wait it out? It's very wet snow, but it is snow, and it's early, like maybe 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's supposed to be a big storm. Oh, good news. I just met another hunter who was up here, Will. Hey, Will. And was asking about the weather report, what he saw coming up here. He's staying down in Sig Creek, which is down below. And he was telling me that it just was predicted for rain. Didn't see anything for a snowstorm. So, sounds like we're good. Storm up in the Colorado mountains. Good morning, you guys, and I do mean good morning. This is the first of 4 days that we've actually seen the sun. It has been 4 days of absolute cold, freezing rain up here. So I thought, what a better day to talk to you guys about what I've done and how I keep the Sun Raider warm inside. So let's go take a look inside. Okay, cool. So here we are on the inside, and that's what this is all about, is finding ways to keep this place warm inside during the winter. And for my main heat, I use my diesel heater. My diesel heater, I've got a 3-gallon Rotopax tank on the back of the Sunroamer, and that gives me enough, if I'm careful, for about 2 weeks. I think that's the longest I've been able to do it. So that works really well. One thing about the diesel heaters, if you're going to use those in higher elevations like I do, I have found that at least once a year, I'm going to need to tear it apart and clean it so it's prepped for the following year. So make sure and do that like in the spring or something when you're not using it. On my diesel heater, I also have it situated that it blows directly across from my water tank, so that my water tank ends up being the first thing that is going to receive any heat, and then the residual heat rises to the rest of the coach, and that keeps everything where I need it. My diesel heater is also, it's a Chinese diesel heater, but it is set up on a thermostat. So the thermostat, I've got it set at night to come on at 46 degrees, I think right now, and to turn off at 56. And so even when I've got the wood stove going, during the day and I go to bed, say at 10 o'clock at night, throw the last of the wood in here, um, whatever time it is, it's going to continue to keep that heat fluctuating all night long so that nothing freezes in here and I don't get too cold, which is kind of nice. Now, the other thing we have to talk about is how do I keep the heat in? Because there's one thing to have the heat, one thing to keep the cold out, right? So these old coaches, specifically, man, single pane windows all over the place, really bad 40-year-old seals. These things didn't let in a lot of air, cold air. So what I found is a product called Warm Window. And I've talked about this before, but it's a 5-layer product or fabric that I have an Amazon link, I believe, if it's still available on Amazon. If not, you can get it at Joann's and just take and sew it to whatever fabric you want for your decor. Um, Mine's a little loud. I like it like that. But and also, it's not a complete blackout. I thought it was going to be, but because of the sewing lines, it's not. So keep that in mind, either putting a darker fabric on what would be the outside or on the inside, and that will allow you to have then a full blackout curtain with an insulation factor, which is kind of cool. Another area where I lose a lot of heat is going to be my front door. Again, single pane window, old seals. I have thought of resealing the entire thing, but being that this is fiberglass and it does fluctuate with temperature, I've noticed the gap change in that. So what I've done, I've just taken and purchased some cheap, I think they were $16 Berber type blankets, and I will use clips at the top and clip it and then just drape it over that area at night when I need to, when it's cold. And that, again, keeps the air from coming in. Now, on the front, between the coach and the cab, that's another area that gets freezing cold, which works great for my refrigerator in there, but for in here, not so well. So again, I have the warm window fabric. I sewed some panels and have that I can drape down. That helps keep that cold out from there. On the floor, I use the same principle. I take a blanket that I have and I put that on the floor. I use that only typically at night or when it's really cold. A lot of heat is lost from the floor area, even with insulation. So that's just kind of an idea. If you're getting really cold feet, take a cheap blanket and throw it down and it will help tremendously. For my sleeping area, what I have up here is I have a mattress called an X-Speed Duo, and that is a air foam mattress. They are really great. It's fully adjustable because it's air foam, so you can allow air, in and out. You do have to adjust it when you're going up and down in elevation. You don't want to pop it, which I don't know if you really could, but if you had it really blown up for a firm and you went at higher elevation, you could possibly damage it. I believe they do have patch kits also for them. I've not had any issues with it. I've had it for the whole time I've been in here. I also had that in my rooftop tent, which was amazing if you've got a rooftop tent, because when you're done with it, you can get rid of all the air and the thing is like a pancake. And then you can keep all your bedding and everything up in your rooftop tent, which is pretty cool. And of course, the other thing is going to be my wood stove. Now, I have talked about this guy. I love my wood stove. This is a cubic mini grizzly. So this is the model that is up from the cub. I got that so I could get a little bit larger chunks of wood in there versus the cub. Cub would have been perfectly fine in here, I believe, but I ended up with this one. One thing about these is, I don't know if you can see all the wood in here, but the wood I have on both sides of this is enough for only one night. And this is not a lot of wood. I cut my own wood and stuff. I don't buy wood. But it is quite a bit. It's kind of having trouble going right now. I just got it started. But so about every hour to hour and a half, I have to keep this stoked with wood, or it will be really difficult, especially with wetter wood. So hour and a half, I have to keep it stoked with wood all night, which is kind of a bummer. So 10 o'clock, if I go to bed, I'll shove it full of wood if I've got good coals, go to sleep, and again, the diesel heater will kick back on and we'll be good for the rest of the night. And that's pretty much it. That is the basis of what I do, so that this allows me to camp in the winter, cold winter. Haven't had it someplace like Alaska, minus 30, stuff like that. I don't know how this system would work, but it works really well for places like Colorado and stuff like that. So hope that gives you some ideas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help. And next week we head to the absolute top of Bowler Pass with some incredible views. See you then.